closing speeches, and then we're going to go home and have a wonderful evening. So, without further ado, we'll start with Parker. To give you a big
Hey, thank you guys for staying and thank you guys for coming. Are you excited? Are you excited to be here?
Yeah!
Yeah, I know we're excited to be here. I'm excited, but I'm always excited, so it's fun to be here. And especially to everyone watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I'm hoping to be the next Michael Bieber and get picked up by someone famous. My name is Parker Donaldson. I'm a first-year MBA presently. I am from Hamilton, Ontario. I'm 28 years old, and I spent the last 6 years in Quebec City because I used to be in the military, but I'm no longer in the military, and now I'm a civilian with a beard. And I'm running for VP Internal. So my alma mater happened to be the Royal Military College of Canada, where I was actually trusted to have a position quite similar to the VP Internal. It was called President of the Mess Committee. In any case, my responsibilities lie with the planning, chairing committees, planning, organizing, and then executing events. Social events ranging from galas and balls upwards of 2,000 attendees with budgets north of $100,000. To smaller things like golf tournaments or even to hamburger night at our student bar. So I've got some of those transferable skills that I can leverage and bring to the table as the VP Internal. Thank you. Keep talking because I've got a minute left. I did that a lot faster than I thought. So that's what I'm bringing here tonight, but this is what I think you guys should expect from the evening. And I'm going to break this up into 4 parts. So consider this the postgraduate student's interim election journey. All right, broken up into 4 parts. So for tonight, we're going to focus on learning about the candidates, connecting with the candidates with their platforms, electing, which happens on Friday. So don't worry about election now. I don't want to try to sell you to elect me. And then eventually experiencing, that is to say, experiencing the platforms that they then implement. So for you guys tonight, it's very easy. Here are the ground rules. Learn about us, and hopefully you can connect with us at some degree, or multiple degrees. So have fun. So I hope you're excited by now.
Yep. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Abhishek. I come from Delhi. I'm an environmental engineer. I did my engineering from Government Engineering College, Delhi. And if this event was in India, I would have said that I would get you 24/7 water supply or get you electricity, but this won't work, is it? You already have that. My perspective, what I want to give to PGSS is the more of international and cultural events. Like I try to make more events, more frequent events, and I'm open to meeting people, and you can always come up and put your issues to me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Yep. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Mina. Very nice to meet all of you, and I'm so happy all of you are here. It's always a pleasure to have so many people in the house when we have trivia or other events. I am a second-year PhD student in neuroscience, and I'm an active member of PGSS. I've been in the Internal Affairs Committee organizing events for PGSS since February 2015. I've organized a lot of events this year, including the Montreal Food Crawl during Orientation Week, as well as Fall Housewarming, the Halloween party if you've been there, and also the Healthy Lifestyle Night that happened this year. The previous Internal Affairs Officer, Sahid, has done an incredible job in introducing inclusion, equity, diversity into this year's portfolio. And he has planned so many amazing events for the rest of the year, including Love and Sex Week, and also some other events for the winter that are family-friendly events. So my job as Internal Affairs Officer, if I get elected, is to continue the 2015-2016 mandate that we've already planned and organized. One of the events that I'm going to do is the iWeek International Board Games Night, that we're aiming towards more inclusion, more diversity, more equity in Thompson House, as well as other LGBT-friendly events for Love and Sex Week. So if you have any questions about me or my campaign, go online. I have a Facebook page. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, and I'll be available later if you have any questions. Thank you.
Did anybody notice Love and Sex Week and Family was positioned very close together? Like, oh, that's probably not the most family-friendly event. I'm from a very odd milieu. Okay, this is the part where we open up to you guys. If you don't ask questions, I will use my math teacher skills. I was a teacher for a year. I'll go around and creepily sit on your tables till you ask questions. It works really well. We learned it in school. Anyway, so if anybody wants to pose a question to either an individual candidate or all the candidates, it would be great. Otherwise, it just stands here looking really awkward. They have a minute and a half to respond, so please be clear if it's to one person or everybody. And you look like you have a question.
I do have a question.
Do you want to just say it from there, or?
Sure. Okay, so I'm a member of the Internal Affairs Committee, and this question's for everybody. Considering that a number of events have already been planned for next semester, I was wondering if you could just talk to what you're most excited about and which events you're most looking forward to that are kind of on the schedule for next semester.
Okay, so the past, I'm just doing this for YouTube out there, for the past events, just the continuation of them, what are you looking forward to that's already been planned or in the pipeline there? We'll start with Parker.
Oh, sure. Can I put this back on the thing?
Yeah, let's move the camera again. Sorry YouTube, Jenna, edit this out.
So one of the events that I'm looking most forward to in the new year, which I actually attended earlier in October, and I thought it was a great, frank success, was the speed dating. Speed dating happened mid-October, and I think the next event is planned for mid-February, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a really great opportunity for especially the single people around the college or the university to get out there in an actual physical environment and meet other students from different faculties in a really rapid manner. That's all.
It's much easier than using this as a forum for me. So Abhishek, yeah. Sorry. A minute and a half, whenever you're ready.
It will be like 15 seconds because
Great.
I haven't looked at it honestly, but because I'm like kind of new to this community, but yeah, I've heard like events like Sweat Intense or something, Sex Tricks something, so which I think are kind of like very going out, like kind of very engaging, so I look forward to that.
And last but not least,
Right. Well, I'm so happy that Parker mentioned speed dating because we're actually organizing a speed dating event during Love and Sex Week. The speed dating event that we had in October was a heterosexual edition. The speed dating that we're going to have in February is going to be the LGBT edition. Other than that, we're going to have a drag show in Thompson House. If you haven't been to that last year, you should show up because you never know, what's going to happen. It's a lot of fun. And last year we also did the Valentinder party during Love and Sex Week again. This year again we're doing a Valentine's party. It's going to be great. But other than that, there are plenty of events that I'm looking forward to. One of them is ice fishing. If you've not done it, it's in Old Port. We have so much fun every time. Also, one other event that I'm running this year is curling. So if you haven't done curling, if you're not from Canada, come join my team and let's have fun together.
Anybody else? Question? The gentleman there, please.
So PGS is a large organization. Can you share one story from your background where you've led large events and led them successfully, or just generally one story where you've been courageous generally in your past experience, which can help you in this position?
So for people on YouTube, a large event you've organized in the past that was successful, or your experience with organizing events. We'll maintain the order if everybody's okay with that. If you don't mind coming right to the podium, please.
Right, so this was an event that I organized or chaired at the PGSS, because again, I've only been at McGill for about 4 months now. But during my undergrad, in my third year, I was the person in charge, or the person of greatest interest for an event called the Graduation Ball. The Graduation Ball, so I come from a school that had about 1,000 students. And our graduation ball was a party that had about 1,800 to 2,000 attendees. Again, a budget upwards of about $100,000, of which about $60,000 is only like food and booze. And then like 20,000, which is decorations, and 10, which was something like the band and that sort of thing. But the privilege about organizing this event is you could also enlist the help of your friends to be things like ushers. So that made the party, as soon as their task or duty was done as ushers, kind of enjoyable, especially for me, the organizer. This, the event was a huge success. The graduates were very pleased, and following this graduation ceremony, the gala actually follows all the students receiving their diplomas as well as a commission. It's irrelevant. But yeah, that's a story about an event that I chaired and organized.
Thank you.
I think if nothing, we're all going to roll in the military now for the $100,000 events. Yeah. So great for that.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Taxes.
Yeah, organize some events in India. I've organized something like environmental awareness campaigns and engaging people to plant trees. And we have done a large scale involving thousands of people to do that, along with my team and not alone. And apart from that, we have arranged something in schools, say Christmas events and all. But it was like somewhat like 1,000 students. So again, it's not that big. That's it.
Thank you. Everybody likes trees. Are you ready?
Yep. Alright, so the most exciting and most courageous event I'd organized this year, I'd say, would be the Montreal Food Crawl. Simply because it was part of the Orientation Week activities. We had the first graduate and postdoctoral Orientation Week this year, and I was part of the organizing committee. We reached out to 2,000 incoming graduate students, and we had 100 of them go around Montreal to little restaurants and local businesses to taste their food, to discover Montreal, but also we brought business to local businesses in Montreal and restaurants that need this kind of support. So I think that was the most courageous event that I planned, because we reached out outside of campus and there were so many people involved. We had sponsorship deals from all of our sponsors, and we were advertising to 8,600 existing PGSS members, as well as 2,000 incoming PGSS members. So I'd say that was the most courageous. But other than that, I'm also the head of my Bliss Alumni Center, and I run events for over 2,000 people every year. So I don't know, it was a lot of fun for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela, do I recall you having a question?
Yeah, what are you guys planning on doing to better reach out to the LGBT community? Because, like, I'm really glad you brought up the speed dating thing, because typically their event for that has been, like, cancelled or just not successful at all compared to the heterosexual edition.
Or run by Colby. I'm so cute. Come hang out with me. I'm single. Okay, so for YouTube, this isn't all about me. Reaching out to the LGBT community as the VP internal. So again, we'll start with Parker, please. I'm going to kind of snap my fingers because we only have 20 seconds left, FYI.
Sure, sounds great. Okay, I have no previous data in regards to the events that you're speaking of, so I can't really make a deduction without having done an analysis. So with that being said, I don't have a response for that.
Yeah, my answer would be the same thing, but I think I would try to reach them through the online thing. I'll try to know their feedback on things, like what they are looking for and what they want. So I'll kind of try to mail and reach them. Thank you.
Great. Mina, whenever you're ready.
Alright, so the LGBT community is a very, very big part of the Internal Affairs portfolio. Thompson House is a gender-neutral space, and we have gender-neutral bathrooms, and we try to accommodate everybody in this house. It's part of our inclusion, equity, and diversity campaigns. And that's why the speed dating was requested, and it was something that we really wanted to do. Also, we wanted to push the limits on the comfort level of our existing members. That's why we're doing the drag show. It's going to be organized by Ian Beamish. And Sahil did this last year, and he's put so much effort into organizing the LGBT-friendly events for this year as well. So I'm looking forward to running his events, as well as organizing new events. We're always more involved in trying to get people into Thompson House, into our society, get more involved. And I think there's something that we're doing wrong. We're not reaching out enough, so we have to try harder. So yeah, thank you very much for your question.
More questions, Yanni.
So my question is for everyone, and so a big part of Internal Affairs is organizing events with a lot of people. So could you describe a bit your personal kind of leadership style and how would you work in that environment?
So leadership style, could you please describe it?
Internal committee.
Great. Do we want to switch the order so people have more time to think about it, or are you good to go?
It's up to you. Do you want to go?
Okay, we'll steal the course. Awesome. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so in terms of leadership, styles, I believe in a situationally based leadership style. So you have to kind of task tailor your leadership style to be participating, delegating, or just telling or selling. It depends on the situation. So it depends on whatever the event's going to be, taking into consideration what your committee is made up of. So to give you a straight answer, I actually don't have one, because again, you'll tailor it to whatever the situation is.
We're going to go crazy and have Mina be next.
Sure.
If I understood that point correctly.
Let me think. Okay.
Bam!
Cool. Thank you so much for your question, because I think this is very important. The person who's going to do this job has to have some sort of an internal motivation and a fire almost to be able to do this task and bring everybody together. The Internal Affairs Committee consists of 12 seats. However, our activities span more than that, or bigger than that. We always require volunteers and more participation. So it's very important to delegate, like Parker said, and to know, what you can do to get people to contribute and help you out. A lot of the current execs actually helped me out with some of the events this year, and we had so much fun. They volunteered as group leaders, although they're like Secretary General of PGSS and they have a lot of stuff to do and they're really busy, but there are a lot of people available to us in Thompson House and in PGSS staff, so it's very important to make use of those people and to respect them and to value their time, because we wouldn't be able to do any of those events if we didn't have people helping us out. So that's my style. And lastly, I'm also VP Communications of Fencing Club, and they call me VP Cuddles. So I try, my leadership style is very cuddly, is what I'd say.
Nothing more cuddly than fencing. Great.
Yeah, I would say there are no leaders without a team. I would like to have your opinions, everybody PGSS member opinions to put into place, and then I'll take decisions on that. And it's all, I believe more on decentralizing the powers rather than keeping it with me. Thank you.
Ragita.
I'll have multiple questions, but my first question is, internal portfolio in general, PGSS exec's portfolio for each one, it's very time consuming. And I'm hearing you are VP communication of something and you're doing something else, and I didn't hear the other two guys doing what. But it's not just running the events, it's a lot more than just that. So I just wonder what's your time commitment and your availability for the few months that is left, and so tying into that, if any of you is interested in continuing for next year.
So again, for YouTube, your availability and your ability to commit to this in terms of time, as well if you plan on continuing to the 2016-2017 period. Mina, do you want to go crazy and start?
Sure.
All over the place here, it's amazing.
So thank you very much for that question. That's very, very valid, because as grad students we're very, very busy, and we're also committed to other things as well. As a member of the Internal Affairs Committee, I'm already very committed to the workings and functioning of Internal Affairs Committee and running events and doing a lot of the logistical work. However, if I become Internal Affairs Officer, the kind of work that I'm going to do is not going to change very much. However, I might be able to dedicate time and delegating more to other members of the Internal Affairs Committee to get these events going. And also I wanted to say one more thing, but it totally got out of my mind. But, oh yeah, but when Saya told me that he was planning to resign, he told me that, do you want to do it? You're qualified, blah, blah, blah. And I said I might not be able to do it because I didn't know if I could commit the time. But it took me a while to realize that, hey, I'm already doing this, I really want to do this, and I love what I'm doing. And so I think it would be a disservice to PGSS if I ran and didn't have enough time to do it. So I'm here because I know that I can make time for this.
And next year?
Next year, if I get elected, I might run.
It's a possibility. Okay.
It's a possibility.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm totally committed to this. I think I'll kind of like I'll enjoy this kind of thing, and it'll not be more of a burden. I think I'll try to give more than the job requires. And secondly, I would say that for the time thing, I don't know, McGill will allow me because my course ends this next semester. So I'm here till 2016 August. So that will be my time frame. Thank you.
The 12 to 20 hour commitment as detailed by the job description, and even further than that, starting next semester, is definitely feasible, definitely doable. It's not a problem. Next year, no, I wouldn't be running because I intend to do an international exchange, so just would not, I would not be eligible. That's it.
Please.
So this is for all the candidates. When new students come in, kind of in like in the winter months, sometimes it's hard for them to integrate. So I was just wondering, as an internal affairs officer, what kind of things you'd like to do to try and integrate the newcomers that come in during the winter months into our community.
So integration of students who come in out of sync or out of the traditional scheduling. Should we start again with Parker? Sure. I'm just making it up as I go along now. Right? So,
So am I.
Sounds a plan.
Yeah, that's a tough nut to crack for sure. Definitely out of sync, no orientation week or less so in the new year. Definitely it's colder, it's darker, much earlier, so those are a lot of challenges that have to be faced by new students entering. So the establishment of perhaps a winter semester orientation week for the newcomers that invents like a meet and greet sort of cocktail that you invite the brand new students along with some of the students that have already entered the school in the spring, or sorry, in the fall time, as well for the challenge in regards to temperature. Definitely need some professional development sessions that can outline like how do you deal with Canadian winter and preparing the students that are coming in off, off season like that, like those guys over there. It's definitely helpful, and it allowed them to feel a bit more included into the community.
Thank you.
Do you want to give me that?
Sure. I'll go.
Okay.
So part of the internal affairs portfolio is to do orientation not only in the fall but also in the winter. So there's actually measures in place to help us do orientation for incoming graduate students. We're currently planning 2 events. One of them is the winter housewarming for new and old students, as well as I think there's going to be a services event where there are going to be tables where incoming students can meet McGill Services, learn how to take care of their health plans, how to take care of their dental insurance, that kind of thing. But we're also planning to do a social here in the ballroom, and I think that's one of the first things that we're going to book is try to get this ballroom booked so that we can welcome those new incoming students. The orientation is so important. After SAI organized the Graduate Orientation Week, actually involvement in elections significantly increased with that incoming pool of students. So if we do that again in the winter, then we're going to have more inclusion, more people coming in, participating in PGSS, our functions and our events. Thank you.
I think the way to reach the new students would be through their mail, through their faculty coordinators. So again, we can do the same thing and call orientation weeks to connect the students and so that they get to know the community better, and they are planned much more prepared to what to do next on the events. Thank you.
And I once again take this opportunity to pitch the PGSS digital agenda. It's wonderful. I also wrote it. So it's on the website for new students if people aren't aware of that. We haven't pitched it much this year. So there's a section on winter coats, for example. So hooray. Other questions? This is the part where it gets awkward. What time is it? Now I still need to awkwardly force people to ask questions. The gentleman in the back?
Yep, I'm from Mac Campus. I don't know if all of you are aware that there's another campus at McGill. So I was just wondering how do you plan to integrate students at Mac Campus into the events that are organized by PGSS.
Woo!
Would you like to start?
Yeah. I share the pain. I'm from Mac Campus too, and yeah. So like, we would definitely. What I plan to do is we would definitely try to integrate more students, more advertisements of our events, so that they are not left out, and maybe through brochures, through pamphlets or emails. But we are going to like try to get them as much as possible here, and I think arranging an event over there is kind of not likely to happen. But yeah, bringing them here is one thing that I feel like we can do. Thank you.
Nina, would you like to be next?
Okay. So we do know that Mac Campus exists, and we're very thankful that there are students there that study and actually commute every day to the downtown campus and back, and the shuttle situation is very difficult. So we actually do organize events at the Mac Campus, including corn roasts, barbecues, as well as snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. And instead of bringing the Mac Campus here, we're actually loading buses from here, taking our students to the Mac Campus and actually doing our events at the Mac Campus. So it's definitely doable. And if you have any event ideas, if you want more events at Mac Campus, let us know and we'll do it.
Mac. What's the square footage out there in Mac Campus? It's quite large, right? It's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's like 3 times the size of this campus.
You have
Yeah.
600
At least.
members.
600 members out in the Mac Campus that are feeling like
Yeah, that's
sort of.
a big
It's farmland. There are like 5 farms there.
No, it's beautiful, and I've been out there. Well, I was out there only once, actually, to be truthfully honest, and that was in August. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's not something or a place they can totally ignore. And having events both there and here, as Mina alluded to, that's a really great idea. As well as I've heard that there's a gripe, obviously, for the transportation. Buses shutting off weekdays at 6 p.m. So organizing shuttles to cater to the Mac Campus people, obviously, to come to the events if they're held at Thompson House or at the McGill Downtown Campus, and likewise for the McDonald Campus as well. So that seems to make a lot of sense. That'd be the way forward.
So I work at Campus Life and Engagement, and I worked quite collaboratively with Sahil on a lot of things that were happening for orientation. So I was wondering if you could speak to sort of other ways that you've worked collaboratively with other offices and groups on campus, and how you would, basically how your relationships with other...
Can we extend that question for new members to include their past collaboration with other groups?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who have experience on campus, your past collaboration with other McGill groups. For those of you who are new to the McGill community, your past working, collaborating with other players. Who wants to start? I don't even know our system now.
We don't have a system.
Why don't you start? You're in the middle, so you know. My victim.
So I don't have any experience to work in McGill as of now. So, but I feel like I've worked in many multinational companies where I've organized events, say food or events or something, which like what has to happen like once a month, something like monthly jamborees and all. So we did that, and I'm a part of Global Warming Reduction Center, NGO that caters to help the environment. So I'm kind of like a team member in that too. So I like to we have worked on many projects, planting trees or cleaning the water or planting a biogas plant in the rural areas. We have done that. So I'm kind of like very much into it. Thank you.
Sure, yeah, that sounds fine.
Are you ready?
Okay, again, having only been here for about 4 months and stuck at a Bronfman down the hill doing homework for most of that time, or if not at home doing homework, I've now had the opportunity to collaborate or reach out to exterior, say, contractors or things at McGill per se. However, to draw upon one experience where I organized a charity golf tournament actually for my previous school, and reaching out with obviously the golf course, which was external to us, as well as say Golf Town for the supplies, as well as like sort of gift cards, that sort of thing, rewards to the golfers, as well as to some of the community, like the local newspaper, and just collectively collaborating all of that effort and collecting it in order to execute this. So that term of collaboration you're talking about, definitely done, and I'm not afraid to make phone calls when required to get things that are required for an event.
So there are a lot of services and committees available to us here at McGill and as part of PGSS as well. I think the most recent collaboration that I did was a few weeks ago, November 25th, when we did Healthy Lifestyle Night, and we collaborated with McGill Mental Health Services, Health and Wellness Committee, as well as McGill Athletics, McGill Counseling Service, we also reached out to outside sponsors, so Spin Energy, Mansfield Gym, those kinds of gyms and other places that contribute to healthy lifestyle. They gave away a lot of free memberships, a lot of free samples. So these kinds of collaborations are always nice to do. So we always try to collaborate more with these kinds of services on campus. Right now we want to collaborate with the Peer Support Network to create a peer network for mental health as part of the Mental Health Hub, so that students, when they need help and when they're in a crisis situation, they can seek help from their peers immediately. Definitely these collaborations are very important, and we wouldn't be able to do most of the stuff that we do if we didn't collaborate with other services.
Regina!
So I know many of you think that the internal portfolio is all about the events, which are pretty much, probably most of them are scheduled in advance, and they've been here for years and years. Like trivia has been here for probably forever. So you can't talk about trivia because that's not going to be your main thing. But outside of that kind of events and parties and things, and considering that you're part of a governing body, which is the exec committee, and all of us are going to meetings with admins and McGill officials and staff and advocating for our students. How do you see your role as an internal in PGSS and then in McGill on campus?
So besides the event coordination, how do you see your role as a member of the PGSS executive as VP Internal? Do we want to go back to Mina starting?
Let me just think.
Whenever you're ready.
So that's a very, very valid point, because most of the people think that our job is to throw big parties at Thompson House and get drunk and have fun, but that's not actually what this job is about. This job requires way more hours than advertised. We attend council meetings, executive meetings, meetings with your own committee and other services and committees in PGSS, and this is a thankless job. You're going to be working really hard, you're going to be in Thompson House, you have to be here, you have to be present to be part of all of these things. So it's a very big commitment, and I'm very ready, and I think I'm prepared to make this commitment because I'm very involved in person with a lot of the things that are happening in Thompson House, and I already know that this is a very tough job, and I don't expect anything in return, although it is a paid job. But I have to say, the reason why